3, 2, 1. I gotta be honest. I've been having kind of a hard time recently. I don't really know what for. I mean, I kind of have some suspicions what for, but I'm not gonna get into all my personal shit on here. But it just made me think about something I did want to share. When I was like in 8th and ninth grade, my parents made me run cross country, and it was like, I got in trouble, so that was their idea of a punishment, was to like make me play a sport. That, or maybe they just figured I needed to like get out of the house and make better friends. But yeah, so they made me run cross country, and it was awesome. I really, really liked it. I remember the first day you show up, and on the very first day, it's like August at like 6 or 7 in the morning. And I remember the coach was like, all right, well, it's the first day, so we'll just kind of see where everybody's at. Go ahead and run 5 miles. Your practice is over when you finish. And he just sat and watched us run 5 miles in circles around a football field. And it was rough. I remember it being really rough. We finished up after a while, and we all went home. I was like, dang, this is going to suck. It's going to be like this every day, every practice, which was 4 or 5 days a week, basically. And then, it got easier and it got easier. The thing is, I'm not really that good at running. I only started thinking about this because usually if I'm not having a great time, I'll go and run. I'll lift a little bit, but I'll do more running, because I feel like I think a lot better. And I've been having a really hard time doing the podcast. I got 3 episodes like written on this little Post-it note, and I just don't, every time I try and do them, I hate it. So I just haven't found the right way to do it yet. So I've been running to try and work it out, and it was making me think, my parents were surprised the second year when I stuck with cross country. Like, they were surprised that I actually like wanted to do it, because they weren't making me do it as a punishment anymore. And I just remember a couple people on the team. I mean, you see me now. I was in pretty good shape back then, but I was not by any stretch like a great asset to the team. I wasn't like an awesome runner. But I do remember in practice there was this one girl on the team that I was friends with, and then there were a couple other guys on the team I was friends with. And, we'd be running and running. After a while, you start to get really tired. And they'd just come up, they'd come up next to you, they'd slow down, they'd see you kind of falling behind, so they'd fall back with you. They'd kind of give you a little tap on the back or the shoulder. They'd just be like, don't start walking. You got to keep running. You got to keep on running. And that was really helpful. It's kind of hard to run by yourself. At least for me, it's really hard to run by myself, because I usually need that person there to keep pace with. And then that person who's like willing to say to me, like, dude, you can't start walking now. You got to keep running. And I kind of need that. And so, trying to go run today, I was having kind of a hard time with it. And I just started thinking about those guys. Every time I tried to start walking and slow down, I thought about one of them coming up behind me and giving me a pat on the shoulder and saying, dude, you can't start walking now. You got to keep running. So shout out to all those guys, those people who made sure that I didn't stop. It's I don't think I keep in touch with a single one of them anymore. It's a real shame. But no, I think about them a lot recently. I don't think any of them watch my show. If they do, glad that they know that now. But yeah, I don't know. Weird stuff, I guess. Weird for me. But no, it's funny why I started working out again to begin with. I got pretty heavy. I've lost a lot of weight since then, but I just remember one day it kind of got in my head that I needed to start working out. I think I was watching that Bill Burr comedy special, the like Walk Your Way Out or whatever. If you haven't seen it, that's probably one of my favorite stand-ups. Maybe of all of them, to be honest. But no, I remember I'd gotten up. I was like 265, I think, which for me is like really, really heavy. I think for most people that's probably pretty heavy. And I knew I had to start working out because, I don't want to have to like go on blood pressure medicine or whatever. And that kind of runs in my family, which means that would be coming up here pretty soon if I didn't start managing it myself. And I've always kind of felt this way about medicines. Like, they all have these side effects that make it, like you take blood pressure medicine, right? You got high blood pressure, you could have a heart attack or a stroke, you got to take this medicine. And that medicine's got a side effect that, now, well, your liver toxicity is really high because of your blood pressure medicine. So now you got to take this too. Oh, well, this stuff affects your kidneys. So now you got to take this. And then that makes you gain weight. And then all these problems, they spiral over and they compound. And, for me, it all started with going to my doctor. My doctor says listen, if you don't lose some weight, the next time you come in here, I'm putting you on blood pressure medicine. So you either you gotta run, you gotta get to the gym or go running and lose the weight, or you're gonna have to go on the medication. And I know how I feel about this stuff, so I presume that I kind of know how it goes. You go on this medication, and then after a couple months or a couple years, you go on another medication. And then another and another, and they all make you gain weight, all of them. They all make you sleepy. They all mess with your stomach and your freaking head. And then you got bad knees. And the only way to fix it at that point, the doctor's like, there's really nothing more we can do. Like, you got to really start having healthier hobbies. Don't do that. Don't eat that. And you need to go walking or running every single day. Except the difference is now you're like 350 pounds and you can't hardly stand for more than 10 minutes. And so the truth is, for me, the way that I looked at it was, if I start going to run now, I can run to look good. Because for me, that's, I want to look good. I want people to look at me and say like, wow, that guy's good looking. He really takes care of himself. Yeah, for me, that's a huge motivation. But the truth is, if you don't run now to look good and to feel good and to have more energy, you're going to be running later. 30 years and 5 medications later, you're going to be running, except you're not running to look good and to feel good and to be better at sex. No, you're running for your life, literally. And, I can't really see it getting any easier, so figured I'd just start now. Well, that was a weird tangent to go on. Talking about, well, I don't know. I guess I'll just leave it there, keep this a short episode. Big thanks to all of you that have been watching recently. I've noticed a little audience growth, especially on YouTube, so that's really cool. For those of you listening on Spotify, like I said, say it every time, all my episodes on Facebook, they come with video. The ones where we talk about conspiracies or politics, I make sure to link lots of articles for you so you can see where I'm getting the information. And if you want to research this stuff for yourself, then, you at least know where I started, and then you can decide where to go from there. I do try and use pretty unbiased, or at least balance out the sources of where I'm getting the information. So, I try and do a good job. You can write me a message or leave a comment if you think I'm doing a bad job. certainly doesn't stop most people from leaving me bad comments. So by all means, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. So yeah, go on over to that Facebook page, Vince Polson of Common Criminal Podcast. Go ahead and hit like, so in the future you get, more notifications. And because that's really all you get when you like a Facebook page is more notifications. All right, I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it.